Armando Baker here.
It's Luke May.
This is Tyler Hansbrough.
University of North Carolina.
Here's North Carolina.
I just want to shout out my boy JBear_YT.
JBear_YT.
It's Carolina family, baby.
Go Heels.
Go Heels.
What's up, boys? Welcome back to another video. Today we are going to be looking at the top 25, my preseason top 25 for the college basketball season. College basketball starts Tuesday. It's one of my favorite sports. Love college basketball around here. So let's get right into it with the top 25. So I think starting out here, we're going to go with... Why will it never turn? Hello. Anyways. Okay, that's what you do like that. Okay, here we go. Number 25, I have Indiana. They got some good recruits coming in. Tamar Bates being one of them. But obviously, the biggest part of their team is Trace Jackson Davis. I think he's going to be really good for them this year. They got some players who can be impact freshmen as well. And it's going to be a tough Big Ten, though, so I would not doubt to see them out of the top 25 by the end of the year. But they do have a lot of upside on that roster. Number 24, I have the Mississippi State Bulldogs. Got to throw some love to my Carolina fam and Garrison Brooks over there at Mississippi State. I think the SEC is going to have a little bit of a down year, to be honest with you, so I'm not very high on them. I think they can be a top 3 team in that conference. I really do. But I don't expect too much from them. But I think Garrison Brooks is set to have a big year. He's going to be one of those top options, if not the top guy. But they got a lot of talent there, and I think they'll be able to do pretty good this season. Number 23, I have Rutgers. Rutgers might be the team that I don't know, I guess higher on than everyone else, I guess, is the way to say it. I don't really know. But I really like Rutgers this year. They are in a stacked Big Ten, which this is kind of a boom or bust team for me. Rutgers, they could end up being really good, or they could end up being really bad. Like, they really could. So I'm not sure how it's going to turn out. But I like to see Rutgers do pretty well this season. I think they're capable of it. I don't necessarily think it's going to necessarily happen so easily, but I think they can do it. A guy on their roster, Dean Raber, I actually played basketball against him in high school, so that's interesting. But anyways, on to number 22, we got the Michigan State Spartans. Again, another one of those Big Ten teams. Now I think the ACC is actually a better conference this year than the Big Ten. I think they're overall deeper. I think the high end of the Big Ten is better than the high end of the ACC this year. But I think as far as like a team-by-team basis goes, I think the ACC is just slightly above the Big Ten. But those are undoubtedly the two best in college basketball, those two conferences. And, you know, Tom Izzo, he's always going to have his teams ready, whether they're the most talented team or not. Which I think they are a talented team. They're obviously capable of being a great team this year. Max Christie, I think he's going to be very good for them, the true freshman 5-star guard. And they got a whole bunch of pieces that can be really good. Number 21, we had the Louisville Cardinals, the first ACC team that we've had. In my ACC rankings video, I think they had them at 5th. I believe it was. Yeah, 5th. But... yeah, I like the team. I think they're really deep. That's like the main thing I like about them. I think if they weren't so deep, they wouldn't be this high. I don't think the high-end talent on this roster is anything incredible by any means necessarily, but they got some pieces that can be really good, and they should be able to go to many people off the bench to get them some good minutes. They did lose their best player from last year in, goodness, what's his name? Yeah, the transfer from, goodness, well, I can't think. Carlik Jones, that's who I'm thinking of. But he's gone. I still think it's a really good team. I also have Chris Mack. Anyways, number 20, the Auburn Tigers. Now, yes, Carolina fans, we know that Walker Kessler left to play in the SEC. But we saw in that last 10 or so games from Walker what he's capable of. So I think he actually is going to be really big for them. Walker Kessler, he's really good. He just didn't show it all of last year. And obviously, they got another 5-star coming in this year to help him in Jabari Smith. But yeah, it's going to be tough. Auburn's going to be a tough out. I don't think they're as deep as many other teams. are in the Power 5 conferences, I guess, but their top end talent is really, really good, so they're here at 20 for me. Number 19, the Florida State Seminoles. Obviously, depth is their main thing in the ACC. They lost Scotty Barnes, who's a top 5 pick, who's doing really well in the NBA, by the way. But they have so much depth, and they have so much length. They're such a long, defensive-minded, just really overall good team, and they have one of the best coaches in college basketball. Number 18, we have the Illinois Illini. Now, Illinois could be moving a team that moves down more for me. I know the AP is way higher on Illinois than I am, but I think they lost Ayo Dosunmu and they lost Kofi Coburn for like 3 games or so. So I'm not sure if they're going to be able to. They're definitely not going to be as good as they were last year. But yeah. Number 17, we have the Tennessee Volunteers. I know there's a lot of SEC teams on here. I don't think the SEC is really that good. But obviously, if you win games against like any opponents in the Power 5 conferences, you're going to be ranked. So they got Jonas Adu, who was actually a Carolina recruit for a while. Not like a commit or anything, but we were trying to get him for a while, I believe. Didn't end up landing him. He was one of those guys who was going to, if he was like a junior, he would have ended up probably being a 5-star at one point. But so he's good. They got Kenny Chandler, who's also a 5-star, I think. They got really good talent there. I think Tennessee can be a very good team. I think they can play really good defense this year. I think they're really long and really talented. So I expect some big things from Tennessee Volunteers this year. Number 16, the Virginia Tech Hokies. They're just led by Mike Young, one of the best coaches in college basketball. I keep saying that, but it's just true. Virginia Tech, I don't think anyone's expecting too much from them, but they have so much coming back. Heve Aluma, Justin Mutz. They just have so much coming back. It's hard for me to doubt them. And they have the other Wofford transfer, Storm Murphy, also coming in. So they're going to be really good. I don't know why people are kind of low on them this year. 15, we have the Oregon Ducks. Pac-12, I think we can all agree, is probably the weakest of the Power 5 conferences. As far as, honestly, most sports, except for like baseball, I guess. But yeah, don't expect much from the Pac-12, but I think Oregon can emerge as maybe possibly one of those 2 to 3 best teams in that conference, which would land them somewhere in this range, although I don't think their talent is where it needs to be at that level, you know what I'm saying? But I think they'll be all right. Number 14, I have Kentucky. Kentucky had a rough year last year, but obviously their recruiting is just among, if not the best in the nation, just 5-star after 5-star coming in. They have so many good pieces. Sharpshooter CJ Frederick out of Iowa also transferred there, which is just really sad if you to play Kentucky. So, but I don't know. They're still young, and it could end up like last year. I don't think it will. I think they'll be like a Sweet 16 caliber team this year, but they're still young, but they're extremely talented. Number 13, we have the Ohio State Buckeyes, another Big Ten team. I mean, the top end talent in the Big Ten is just pretty much unmatched over the past couple of years. You know what I mean? So, Big Ten, I feel like Ohio State's too high in a way just looking at it right now. Obviously, they still have E.J. Liddell over there, but I've never been high on that coaching staff there. And I think they underperformed last year in the tournament, obviously, but I think they'll be okay. But if I was redoing this, I'd probably move them down a little bit, to be honest with you. Number 12, Miami. Nate Oates, he just plays a good modern game of football. He just understands the game modernly, unlike anybody else. He just loves the three-point ball, obviously, and loves taking free throws, which the easy buckets right there. And I think they got a lot of talent. I believe they have a 5-star commit coming in this year. I'm not exactly 100% sure about that, but they got a lot of talent, and they'll be really, really good this year. Number 11, I have Memphis. And while I don't think Memphis is a top 11 team in the nation per se, they're not going to be playing one of the toughest schedules, obviously, but they do have a ton of NBA, caliber talent. They have Imoni Bates. They have Jalen Duren, 2 5-stars on the team right there. They got the Miami transfer. What's his name? I can't even remember at the moment. They got Landers Nolly as well. Earl Timberlake's who I was thinking of. But they have so much like NBA caliber talent. I don't know just how it's gonna mesh. I mean, Penny Hardaway's done a fantastic job recruiting there. It just hasn't really paid off for Memphis yet. But I think they'll do just fine this upcoming year. Number 10, I have Duke. Yes, of course, Duke. Which means I have Carolina ahead of them, obviously. But Duke, I can't deny it. Duke is a very, very good team. Paolo Banchero? Not even sure if I'm saying that right. He's going to be probably a top 3 pick this upcoming year, assuming things go well for him this season. AJ Griffin, another 5-star. There's 5-star after 5-star on this team as well. And I think Mark Williams, honestly, might be the best player on this team over Banchero, if I'm being honest. I think he just plays a brand of basketball that I really enjoy watching, if I'm being honest. I think Mark Williams can have a huge impact, and he was really good at the end of last year as well. So I think obviously Duke's going to be really well in Coach K's final season, but not higher than North Carolina. So we'll take it. Number 9, speaking of the Tar Heels, we have North Carolina. I had to just throw them one spot ahead. They're ranked number 19 in the AP poll preseason, which honestly could make sense. We could finish higher than 19, a lot lower. It really, for me, it just depends on how Hubert Davis does as a coach. Because I think we've seen in the scrimmages and the exhibition games that the team overall has improved as a shooting unit, which was a big factor last year. If we can improve on the turnovers, there's no doubt I think this can be a top 10 team. But how Hubert manages the game will actually be big for us this year. So if that turns out right and Hubert Davis is a fantastic coach, there's no doubt in my mind it's going to be a top 10 team, but we'll see. This is a really boomer bust team for me this year, honestly. Number 8, I have the Purdue Boilermakers out of the Big Ten, another Big Ten team. Purdue's really good. They're one of those teams that are kind of like Baylor last year, I guess. I guess you could call it like that. But I mean, they have more NBA talent last year than this Purdue team does, I'd say. But I like their brand of basketball. I think they play the game really well. I at the moment I can't think of their like star player's name right now who's going to be like a top 5 pick possibly in next year's draft. I don't know why I can't. I'm just blanking on it. But Purdue's going to be really good. Maybe the best team in the Big Ten. Number 7, last year's national champions, the Bears. They lost a lot, but it just felt wrong disrespecting the last year's national champions like that. So I have them here. It's number 7 might be generous considering what they brought back and stuff. But hey, national championships, gotta give them the respect. Scott Drew's a fantastic coach as well. Number 6, I have the Michigan Wolverines, who Michigan Wolverines, man. I tread lightly when I say this, but Juwan Howard might be the best recruiter in college basketball because when you think about it, Michigan isn't known for to be that team in basketball since they had the Fab Five back in the 90s or whenever that was. So they haven't really been that team lately, but when they hired Juwan Howard, I mean, everything just turned around. They brought in 2 5-stars in this past class. Caleb Houston's a knockdown 3-point shooter. He's going to be really great this year. I mean, it's just recruit after recruit after recruit going to Michigan. UNC commit Seth Trimble, cousin of or brother of JP Tokoto, almost went to Michigan. It was actually really close. A lot of people thought he was going to Michigan until Carolina kind of pursued him hard at the end there. But, man, Michigan's going to be really good. They have a lot of talent on that roster. They play really together basketball. Number 5, I have the Texas Longhorns. Speaking of actually, not really recruiting, but the transfer portal has been great for the Texas Longhorns this year. In the Big 12, which they won't be in very much longer, I think they probably are going to be that best team in my opinion. The transfer they brought in are just fantastic. Marcus Carr, the Creighton transfer, I can't remember his name right now. Kentucky transfer, Devin Askew. It's going to be a good team. It's going to be a really deep team. I think Chris Beard is a really good coach. He did good things with Texas Tech while he was there. So yeah, I'm actually looking forward to watching Texas basketball this year. Number 4, we have the Villanova Wildcats, who I don't know. I think people are higher on them than I am. I gave them 4 just out of respect for what they've done in the past, and they do have good players. Like, don't get me wrong, they got some good players on that roster and stuff. They haven't got the recruits that I think they needed to get lately, like in the past couple of years, but they do have really good players. Jeremiah Robinson Earl obviously is gone, but they still got what's his name? He tore his ACL last year. I don't know why I'm blanking on these so often. Goodness. Colin Gillespie, yes, that's his name, Colin Gillespie. He's going to be the leader of that team this year, and they can be really good. They're really balanced, and they're obviously coached really well by Jay Wright. Number 3, we have the UCLA Bruins. By far the best team in the Pac-12, not even close. In a Pac-12 that I don't think is going to be really good at all outside of UCLA. UCLA is a legit contender, though. I think they're pretty much the only legit contender that you'll find in the Pac-12, although anything can happen in the NCAA tournament. But I think UCLA is by far the best team. Johnny Juzang is going to be a college basketball star this year. Let's see. They did get a 5-star recruit, I believe, or maybe that's a 2022 class. Actually, not sure. I know they got Peyton Watson, yeah. So they did get a 5-star recruit, which will help them out in that front. Center Cody Riley is a really good player, I think. And, yeah, I mean, they're coached really good by Mick Cronin. They're going to be a really good team. And number 2, I think the 2 best teams, like without a doubt, in my opinion, Kansas here at 2. They just have fantastic recruiting, great players that are returning as well. Kansas, I think, is going to be fantastic this year. So, yeah. And then at number 1, we have, of course, the Gonzaga Bulldogs. Number 1 for the second straight year in the preseason poll. They're really good. I mean, Chet Holmgren, number 1 recruit in the country, who's coming in this year. Got Drew Timme coming back. Nolan Hickman. A couple other 5-stars in the roster. It's really talented, really deep, and they play in a not-so-great conference, so they'll be able to rack up win after win. It'll probably look a lot like last year, to be honest with you, where they're just, honestly, maybe even undefeated until the tournament, because they're that good, and their conference is that average, I guess you could say. But anyways, that is my preseason top 25. Thank you guys for watching. Put down in the comments below who you think got snubbed and who you think should be higher or lower, anything like that. You can tell me how biased I am about UNC. I understand. So thank you guys for watching. Please like, subscribe, turn on post notifications, do all that YouTube stuff. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.